Now, it's not working. Like, why? Tell me, I dare you. Anyway. Hello, my friends. I hope you are well. I have tried to start this video now 3 times. And so that is very, very telling in terms of maybe some of the ways that we are feeling at present. I've been trying to think about how to start this video today, and I think I need to tell you a story before we begin because it might help make some sense. So last week, I tried to, or earlier this week, I honestly can't remember, it feels like it's been a month in this week alone, but I came down to work on some videos, some shorts for the channel, and I was doing things by sign. It was a very cute idea, very creative, and I'm trying to work around certain themes this month. So the theme is love. And I did, all of the signs, and I spent a good hour and a half or so recording them, which, when you do an hour and a half of recording, it really ends up being roughly 25-ish minutes at most. And then you split that up, amongst all the signs and what have you. Anyway, went down, did all that, hour and a half of my evening. I stopped recording. I felt really, really good about the reads. I felt very solid. And the audio was nil, no audio at all. So if you've been following on the community page, then you followed along a little bit with that. So there's a couple things that I want to talk about with that. So one is the irony of it all. I had 2 angel cards that I had pulled out, and it was patience and passion. So pursuing your passions, but also with patience and taking your time. So I think there's several things that were going on, I think, that prevented this from happening. Okay, well, I'll tell you the first thing. I was, of course, I saw it. I was like, oh, it's not working. Like, what the heck? Now, this was the 2-2 portal. And by this point in the evening, it was like 9:30 at night. And I actually did a holler out like, why? And I heard very, very clearly from my guides, you are supposed to sit. And I had been intending, as my last 2-2 portal reading had indicated, I was going to be sitting in meditation and I was going to participate in that portal. And I had all intentions of still doing that, except I think the way my brain tends to work is I really like to complete things in one sitting. It's a bit of a hyper-focus situation over here, but 9:30 at night, we were starting to get to the end of the day, and the portal technically would be closing up, right? So I had to be obedient, and that is not a word my guides would use. They do not like that word at all. I wouldn't say they hate the word. There is no such thing. But listening and following through is something I'm really trying to work on. I'm trying to have some discipline with that. But there's another part of this. Oh, and I should say, I did sit and have a wonderful meditation, and it was very, very active and very impressive. So I hope you had a good one too. Anyways, so here I am. And I realized that part of my energy moving into the reading was kind of misaligned. I remember stating earlier in the day, well, I may as well go do the reading and take advantage of my cute outfit. I had my hair done, I had my makeup done, and I had a cute outfit on. And that was my reasoning. I better go down and do it. So it was not well aligned for a few reasons. I get this. It's a visual medium. I'm trying to really sort of walk a very fine line between respecting our visual medium and also just being me and getting on when the inspiration strikes me. But I was heading into it with a big case of the shoulds as opposed to feeling inspired. And so I think that's where the passion part of the archangel deck that I pulled out the other day, they got my attention. Let's just put it that way. So how does this relate to you? Well, my conversations with my guides have become very, very robust, shall we say. Very, very deep. I have a lot of information. And, I got to kind of step tenderly and lightly moving forward as we build a channel. We're just getting to know each other. Incoming message. I'm hearing get on with it, so I'm going to get on with it. I was struggling with what to start with today. And so I decided to go into a music sort of channeling thing with Spotify and just see what my guides sort of directed me towards. And I ended up going into the country music section, which is not my typical way to go. And I came up with Shabuzi's new song, Good News. And his first few lines say, man, what a hell of a year it's been. Keep on bluffing, but I just can't win. Drowned my sorrows, but they learned to swim. Man, what a hell of a year it's been. And head in the bottle, but my heart in the cage. Yeah, it's getting harder to act my age. I need some good news. So it goes on and on. And this guy's really woebegone in this, but he talks about just needing like a little bit of good news, just a little bit. And I had a moment today where I actually had asked, like, listen, I've got some things that I'm pursuing and I'm looking to create and experience. And, for a few of those avenues, it's been kind of a slog the last year, to be honest. That's literally how it's been for me. I don't know how it's been for you. And I was asking, like, just give me like one little thing. I just need something to kind of like pop the, take the plug out or whatever, let it go down the drain, something like that. Just let it happen. And then something came through for me today. And I was very moved by that because not for the thing itself, but for the fact that God, the universe, our angels really are with us. Really, truly, they're with us. Listen, you guys, I cried the last time at the beginning of the video. I'm not going to do it now. Okay. All right. Now, so then I got settled in and I asked my guides, I do some automatic writing with my guides here. And I asked for a little bit of direction. And I'm going to utilize this. It's funny. When I write, this is a new process, by the way. Like I've done it before, but then I haven't picked it up for years and years and years. And I've recently gotten back into it. It's becoming quite the regime now. And it's fascinating. But there is an element of trust that is still struggling to be maintained. And I tend to then, I will write things out. I'm going on autopilot. Like it is not my brain at work. It is my personality kind of taking a small back seat as my guides are giving me information and we're putting it onto paper. And a lot of things have kind of like eerily been accurate, even if like my own brain wouldn't like resonate with the accuracy or even like mentioning like names and things like that. So anyway, all that to say, I was going to fact check this before I shared it with you, but I'm not. I'm going to just trust. And, again, this is not a perfect science, my friends, but I do want to share a little bit of what my guides were saying. So this is my first time, I think, really sharing this with anyone. So I was asking anyways for a little bit of guidance. And so they said there's a question regarding what style of reading or message would be most dear for the viewers of your mirrored intuition, because they have already communicated they do not want to use my name because they realize it's trademarked. So that's nice. Okay. Let me see here. Okay, so as it were, your third eye chakra is indeed activated. So we will ask what image you see now. Yes, a lotus flower. And that is what I saw, a lotus flower with a figure within it. I saw something similar to like the Buddha. This symbol and flower is most divine. It is the most emblematic of one's own unfolding. Yes, and has been for millennia. Lotus flowers grow underwater in the muck or mud, as you see. It is removed from the light and it is in darkness, gathering its strength from the cold, wet ground beneath. There is no one or no thing present to witness this opening transformations. The intelligence flowing through you now. Oh yeah, I got distracted and they called me on it, which I love. So this, we get back to it here. This flower eventually sees the faintest hint of light and by default, as its nature has designed it, begins its ascent, its rise, upwards towards the light. Sound familiar? It ascends into the light. It is drawn into the light. This plant is moved towards the warmth, and once it breaches the surface, the intelligence cannot help but be moved by its spirit, essence, nature. And upon the realization, as it were, of its arrival, it blooms gracefully and has rightly so become legendary. Yeah. So this got me thinking about a few things. One was the idea of when you're having a hard time, and you know that Shabuzi song, "I could use some good news." If you're having a hard time and you're just kind of like, can't I cut a break? If you're feeling that, I get it. I've been there. I have been there. And I just want to say I've worked hard over the years to get acquainted, better acquainted with my emotions and my feelings. And to be honest, emotions and feelings were, even though I'm someone who's creative and tapped in and, you know, it was in the performing arts and all sorts of things and am still in the performing arts, I really struggled with accepting some of my emotions that I kind of deemed and judged as being ugly or yucky or whatever. And I struggled to feel those emotions in the sense that I would not give myself the space or allow myself to really feel it. And I think that kind of builds up over time and it can kind of become a bit of a callus in a way. And with that, you can feel a little bit like turned off, if you will, like your light is dimmed, it's turned down. It's the best way I can think about it. And, you know, if you're someone who has struggled ever with depression or feel that you might be in a depressive state, or it could just be seasonal or whatever, maybe you just didn't have a good sleep this week, you know, as I've been working on getting acquainted with my feelings and how to process them, I've gotten a lot better with processing the uncomfortable feelings. It's not just about the joy and the lollipops and rainbows, is it? It is more than that. And the one thing I seem to be taking away right now from what I would call the alchemization or the transmuting of those feelings is I know every time I'm having what might appear to be something like a breakdown, and I don't mean that to be dramatic. I mean, I'm having a tough day, I'm feeling kind of sad, down, you know, and we all have it. More often than not, I am just on the precipice of a breakthrough. And that breakthrough might be an idea, an aha moment. It might just be feeling better emotionally, or it might be something that sort of manifests itself and presents itself in the physical. There's all sorts of different ways it's going to present, right? So why am I saying this? I was told, I'm really trying to work on just like, let's just hop on and go with the flow and see what happens. So I hope this message resonates for you and to you and with you in some way. And let it be just a friendly, loving reminder, my loves, that you have got this. You are so, so okay. And I know I can feel it in someone's sacral chakra there. I can feel that doubt and that fear. But I'm going to tell you, you got to turn to God or the universe or your guardian angels or Mother Gaia or whomever you feel called to connect with and pray to. Those are the beings, the energy, the source. That is who you need to tune into or with, or that is what you need to tune into or with. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So heavy. Yeah, and this month I wanted to focus on love, and I'm looking at that Shabuzi's good news and everything, and it's like, it's love of self today we have to talk about. We need to talk about that. It is a practice. It is something that must be taken seriously. But here's what I know. You will never, let me preface, not never, never, but you will never find a complete sense of contentment or peace or joy with someone else in relationship. You will not find it until you are content with yourself. Now, I don't mean that to say you're not going to find someone. No, you can and will if you haven't yet. You might be with someone now. But there's always that something that hasn't been resolved. So it's interesting because in relationship, I've had conversations with my partner where, you do sort of like a prioritization of, values, like what's your top priority, second priority, whatever. And we had a discrepancy where I felt myself and my relationship to God was number one. And then my relationship with my partner, and then my relationship with my family and friends and kids, you know what I'm saying? Like it all followed after that. Whereas for him, it was not in that alignment. And we could feel that imbalance a little bit. And even still, I was not putting myself truly first in the sense that I wasn't showing up for myself. I was saying I kind of sometimes was, but I really wasn't showing up for myself. And I feel like only in the last maybe 6 months, 4 months, 6 months kind of thing, I've really started to just make a priority of tuning in and meditating and praying like consistently. And what is that doing? It is giving me the insight for how my brain operates. I am starting to recognize and listen to and know the difference between the busy mind, the lizard brain that likes to run, and the other part, which is that more still small voice, which I'm sure you've heard before, that is speaking to you. And as you cultivate it, it will get stronger. It is a muscle that needs to be worked. And if you honor it and keep moving through building and nurturing that, you will, it's crazy. You'll have so many, I can't even begin. So many things will open up in the wildest of ways. And this is beyond a partner or anything. This is you and God or source or whatever. I mean, that's the relationship that everyone needs to be nurturing. And I think we're really obsessed, if I'm going to be honest, we can get a little slap happy with love and like I get it, you know, and it's exciting and it's stimulating and it's like who's thinking about you, who's got a crush on you, like all of that. Like I do those readings, they're fun, but the real stuff has to come first, I guess. You know, not to say it's not real. You know, your relationship is real. So, but you need to really cultivate this relationship here, you know, with yourself. Oh my gosh. I guess I struggle with kind of like winging it here because I don't know if it's coming across. I don't know if it sounds like I'm just blathering on. You know, I really, really hope it reaches the right people. I'm intending it does reach the right people and that it will be of use to you. So, how are we going to establish this today? I am instead being called towards the Light Seers Tarot for now. And I think what I'll do is I'm going to have a what's below you, what's above you kind of thing. Or, you know, what is it that you're sort of looking to accomplish or accomplish, or what goal you want and what might be in the way as an obstacle. Okay. And some higher advice. Okay. So that's what we'll do. So, interesting. I pulled the Two of Wands, the Knight of Wands, and Death and Rebirth card. I'm not using these. They all kind of came out at the same time, but just for fun, so you know it's there. Okay, so change is afoot. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to ask our guardian angels and our guides, Mother, Divine Father, Holy Creator, please bring us the best message for the collective. And I want to thank you so much for being here and listening and just being here. My goodness, that's enough. You did enough just by being here. And you don't even have to be here with me to be enough to just be here. Just be you and do you. That's plenty. Don't forget to subscribe. Okay, so much love to you. Divine Mother, Divine Father, Holy Creator. What? There's one. Thank you. I don't want it flipping up just yet. So that's what's below you. We're going to say that's sort of like what's under the surface. Okay, I'm going to move that kind of below you. I will reveal them after. We're going to sort of see what is the obstacle. Actually, no. What's your present state? So below you is kind of like secretly what's under the surface. What is it that you want? And what is your current state, collective? How are we feeling right now, collective? What is our current state? This one. Okay. Beauty. Okay. Thank you. And we're going to do what is crossing you or what's an obstacle. This is very old school. I haven't done an old school spread like this in a really long time. And there it is. Kind of fun. And I'm going to put what's above you, and that's what's the divine guidance. Whoa, that came spitting out fast. And a couple of other cards that likes to come through. Let's just see for fun. Oh, lots of wand energy, right? King of Wands, Two of Pentacles. Okay, there's too many. All right, and then we'll see if we have anything else to add after that. Oh man, that lotus flower thing, I'm gonna have to go back over that and sort of really just think about it, because that was beautiful and intense. Just to say a few. Legendary, from the muck to legendary. Gorgeous. Okay, my loves, here we go. Okay, I'm gonna go with where you are right now. So what is our current state here? Oh my, that's hilarious. So we have the Fool, the start of a journey. Okay, starting of a journey, the Fool. What do we see here, our current state? Gosh, this looks just like what I had picked up a moment ago, which is my amethyst. Look what she's holding. Can you tell? Like, that's an amethyst there. It's huge, the crystal. That is funny. So I don't know if I'm being called a fool or not, but I feel like this is really touching base with what I was just talking about, which is really starting to get tuned in to your spirit. So, I mean, the people who come through these channels anyhow tend to be really geared and high-minded like that in terms of connecting with spirit. But I almost get a sense of like there's an essence of really trying to tune in so that you're in the flow with divine timing. And what else do I see here? Yeah, okay. I definitely see these are people. Oh, big time. Okay. You have also been doing some tremendous transmuting work and alchemical work from an emotional standpoint. I can see that I can see that there has been like a conscientious removal or batting away of darker, heavier, denser energies. I don't mean that to scare or sound weird or anything, but you know, that negative sort of thinking and what have you is being cleared, and you're doing it conscientiously. You're doing it like purposefully. And so I salute you there. And I can tell you also are receiving a lot of downloads. Things are on the airwaves, man. If you're someone who's tuned in and paying attention, for sure it is happening to all of us. Oh my. It's interesting too because it's like, well, I'm happy to see we're leaning into our light and leaning into that and really trying to lean in. I did I even say actually leaning in earlier? Because like she is leaning towards the light, and you can see how the dark on this corner here is being kind of like pushed away. It's bringing me the advice again of just being super mindful and diligent with your cleansing and grounding and clearing. I did not clear my house and do proper smudging, like conscious smudging, like for a while. Like we're talking a while. Like I'm embarrassed to say so. Okay, this is before the channel and everything, but you know, like I went for a really long time having not done that, and now that I'm doing it literally so consistently, I can feel that energy shift completely different. And what I think is important about that is when you don't clear, you are just keeping like dense, yucky energies in your space. They don't get a chance to be let go and removed, and it can kind of get reabsorbed into your field, right? Into your energy field. So you can soak it up like a little sponge. So there's an aspect too here. I'm hearing like the old indigenous teachings with the turtle. And you know, we live on Turtle Island, and there is this aspect of that legendary old, there's that word legendary, that legendary ancient turtle. Yeah, okay. All right, I get it. Who represents Earth. And this is really about a reconnection with our planet and Earth, and you're being asked to do that as well. The reason why I kind of stop and pause here is because I have a prayer series that I started this channel with. I've mentioned it before. I'll try to link it if I remember. I'm trying to get better with that and making a point of, you know, time codes. Also, time codes will be in the comment section and things like that. My first prayer was for forgiveness, and then I did a prayer for water. And my next one is working with Mother Gaia, and that is in process right now. But it's really being like I'm feeling it in my throat, like I'm being called to like get it done, you know. And so yeah, so it's interesting. I see this interesting sort of you're it's like you're in the earth, but you're not like of the earth right now. Am I saying that correctly? It's like you're kind of, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. What I'm getting from this card is like you are, you're there, but you're not tuned in just yet in terms of the awareness of your relationship to the ground beneath your feet. Okay. So it's really about getting grounded. quite literally, but I'm hearing like, go out barefoot and kind of walk in the sand or the dirt or the, grass or whatever. Take time to take your sandals off and like lay down in under the shade of a tree and really just like let your body kind of absorb some of that beautiful energy that the earth has to offer. And it's like an exchange anyhow. I mean, we think we haven't even have we even thought about this? I don't know if there's studies done, but there's all that stuff about grounding, and you're seeing people buying these mats now to help them feel grounded and whatnot. And it does something to your nervous system. It actually really does amazing work in terms of that. Now, I'm going to pause for a second. I'm so sorry. I'm being interrupted here. I'm going to pause. Oh my, let me tell you, how can I interpret that? Lots of noise, lots of distractions, sometimes really, really loud and like interloping sounds that are getting in the way of you and your relationship to yourself and your planet. Okay, grounding, going back to this. So with the grounding, we are always sort of assuming it's what we are getting from the earth. And have we even considered what Mother Earth is getting from us when we are taking our shoes off and putting our feet on the ground? Like there is an exchange that happens. It's like if you go to touch a tree, like certainly the tree is getting something from it as much as you are. If you've ever touched a tree and you feel good, yeah, so that's coming up. But I get it. Like there's noise. There's so much noise now, and electrical noises and just like noise. And it's again, this is going back to like meditation and helping you delineate. That's a good word. Delineate between what is the unnecessary chatter and what's not. I heard a reader today talk about how our systems are changing, and the realm and the world that we live in and is changing, and that the sort of the old guard, if you will, is beginning to crumble. But when the old guard is crumbling, or an old system or collapse is about to happen, it is at its loudest, and it's making its loudest sort of roar. So that might just be, connecting a little bit for there. Anyways, I'm going to keep going on here. So that's you now, collective. What's below you? Oh boy. Okay, this one I find to be a fascinating card. So we have the Eight of Swords. So below you is almost like something that's underneath and hidden, might be a secret desire or goal or thought or something. And with this Eight of Swords, I mean, okay. It's just like, you know what I'm hearing? That song? I gotta get out of this place. Do 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 do. So that's an old song. Anyway, this is kind of, this feels like it's connecting with what I was talking about earlier, which is feeling that sort of sense of a little bit of darkness, a little bit of heaviness, feeling maybe like you don't have a lot of options right now. One, two. It's interesting though. Okay, so here's what I'm getting from this. When you look at it at first, you're like, oh, that poor girl. Look at her. She's getting wrapped up here and tangled up by these crows that are just getting involved, and oh, that's terrible. But what's actually happening is, it doesn't look like it right now, but they're actually trying to help. They're actually trying to get her out of it, and she can't see what's going on. But others that are watching, and herself, if you can sort of stay with me here for a second, because you see that she's looking in through a mirror, so she's doing some self-reflection. So there's almost like this inner voice that is saying, like, it's almost like the why me, or what's happening to me. There's an element of that, like it's being interpreted as though it's a negative, when actually this is happening for your highest good. Ding ding. This is okay. This is very good. This is cooking. It's cooking for me. Yeah. I actually, like, very recently, not recently, but recently enough, I walked away from a position and a job. The work environment was not fun. It was, some people were great in it, but I was having a hard time, and it was becoming physically uncomfortable. I may have mentioned this before. Physically uncomfortable for me. I kind of got to a point where I was like teetering in terms of mental health, and so I took a step aside, a step away, and that was a very, very scary thing to do. And it just kind of leaves you with these big question marks. However, the time that I have had for myself over the last couple of months really has been so amazing. But I've been very consistent, as I was saying before. It got to the point where I was really feeling charged when I would talk about that space. And I have moments still where I do feel still charged. But I actually came to the conclusion, like full circle, that was actually the best thing that happened to me, because it made me so uncomfortable. I'll tell you this, it actually, that's how I ended up getting back into meditation. It was because I hated the environment. And I was like, I need every tool at my disposal to be able to handle myself when I walk in those doors in the morning. And I had to, like, I was like pre-paving the way. I was sending love and light to people. I was, like, I was doing it all. And that is what started my little journey. And I don't think I would have even gotten into starting my YouTube channel right now had that happened. Like, there's so many little things that are happening now I'm so happy for and I feel grateful for. But I realized, I'm like, had everything been hunky dory over at the job, I don't think I would have left. And if I didn't leave, I wouldn't have had openings and opportunities come my way for all sorts of different things, right? From the biggest to the smallest, and everything in between. So this is something that, if you are dealing with something that is feeling a little at its, surface level, it looks to be bad. And others might be also remarking on that. And you know what's funny? I feel like I mentioned this in a reading from the 2-2 portal. I feel like that came up, that theme of, like, others might say it's bad, air quotes, bad. They might make a reaction or give you some sort of reaction that it's like, oh no, poor you, like that kind of thing. So don't listen to them, first of all. But this is actually going to be a good thing. Everything is always working out for your highest good. Now, the tricky part is, to stay centered enough in that moment when you are interpreting it, or rather your brain is interpreting it to be a negative, because it's not a negative. So just trust, something you've asked for. But again, this is something somewhat self-imposed, and I mean that respectfully. And I'm going to tell you, I self-imposed myself in that job because I had signs, I had little clues. My body was telling me no, and I kind of went ahead anyways. So I put myself in that situation, but again, wouldn't have been where I am now if it weren't for that, opportunity. Can you believe I just said that, opportunity? Oh my gosh. So, okay, so that's kind of beneath you right now. So there's sort of this aspect of, like, feeling a little bit stuck, not too sure where to go right now, under the surface. So maybe you're trying to keep that to yourself. I think I also spoke about this earlier, the idea of pain being something to avoid. We don't want to do that. Okay, now we're going to look at what an obstacle is. So oh boy, okay, the moon. Heavy emotions is the obstacle. And trying to figure out sort of your place with the light and the dark, and maybe trying to find balance between the light and the dark within yourself. We have a full moon coming up, February 12th is the Leo full moon. It'll be a good time to get your power wishes on and sort of take advantage of those energies. Some people, those conspiracy theorists talk about the moon is a satellite or it is controlled by aliens. I don't know. Like there's so many funny little things out there about the moon. But the moon does have a powerful impact on us, whether it's driven by God or aliens or, flat earthers. I don't know. But like, regardless, it has an impact on our feelings. So you might be feeling some big feelings right now. And that could be what is getting in the way of you being able to interpret this thing as actually being a positive. So, yeah, I'm hearing like get centered. Oh my gosh. And this ties in with the lotus too. The lotus flower grows, begins under the water, and then comes up through the water. Can I go back to that for a second? It's in darkness. Okay. It's in perceived darkness. It can't detect the light. As soon as it's, and it's gathering its strength, it's gathering its nutrients and its energy from all of the muck that it's surrounded by. Okay. So again, we're trying not to be afraid of our feelings and just maybe sit with them. It's funny. This is new for me, by the way, but like trying to not take it personally. I'm not going to take my feelings personally. I've really tried to like access this part of me that's like, that assumption I just made, that is part of the programming. That's not me. Because I know who I am at my core. And am I judgmental like that? Not really. That's a program, So you start catching those things. You get like, oh, okay, it's not so personal. And then you kind of go from there. So, anyways, interesting. Now the divine is giving us some advice here. What is our advice? Oh, beautiful. Ha! 8 of Pentacles. Okay, that is great. So it also looks like the phases of the moon, which is interesting. So I think, let me take a looky here. Yeah, this is, my goodness, if this doesn't speak to everything we were talking about earlier, it's like I don't even need the cards, you guys, but they're fun to look at. And it's an excuse to buy fun things like that. So here it is. This is everything we were talking about. Here is a person who is, see how she's holding the candle. She is getting in tune with herself, getting to know her light, building her relationship with herself and with her divine team. Look at all those beautiful swirls around. There are beings around you all the time. You guys, I'll share this because, it's kind of interesting. I had a session with a psychic online, and he doesn't do tarot. He just, but this is someone I've been trying to connect with for over a year. And like out of nowhere last week, he's like, I happen to have an opening if you're available. I was like, yeah, I'm available. And my mother passed away when I was in my 20s. And I noticed like in the last little bit, I was not feeling her at all. Like I was not. And man, did she come through in that reading, like to a T. Everything he said was like, he nailed it. He nailed it. Just like how she would comment about her hair not looking good. When she passed away, she looked over, she's like, oh my God, my hair is just, it's a disaster. Like that was still my mom. And she came through, and I'm not going to get emotional, but there's more happening around you than you realize. And the more you tune in, the more you will see and hear and feel and sense and know. And this is what the divine is saying, my gosh. And it's an 8. So it's really the infinity, right? It's sort of recognizing, first of all, everything is in a cycle. What goes around comes around, it might go away and then things will come back, and just really getting centered here. What's today? Today is the 7th. Okay, so the 8th is tomorrow for this month. So could be August or the 8th of any month, whenever you're listening to this. This is a timeless reading, but yeah, something with the tree of life, getting connected with that. Something about feeling it in your bones. So like there might be a claircognizance or something that you have, that you kind of like when things are happening, like I see that. It's like, I feel it in my bones. Wow, this looks like stuff she's all manifested, by the way. It's not actually at a table. She's just sitting there in this space. And it's there. It just appears. So I'm hearing act as if the thing that you want has already happened. Can you get into that? Is that something you can access for yourself? I know I have a lot of like creative folks in this community, and what can you sort of conjure up in your imagination? How can you put it into your body and make it feel a certain way? Do you have anything else we want to add to this? My darling angels, my guides, I thank you for your love and kindness. Well, that's a huge deck. I'm going to pull 1 for this beauty. Ace of Pentacles. And look, it's got like the roots. Americans say ruts, depending on where you're from. The ruts. The rough. Go on the rough. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me, I dare you. Yeah, Ace of Pentacles, gorgeous. So I'm seeing like the tendrils. It's sort of harkening back to the lotus flower that we were sort of, oh my God, look it. There is like a lotus flower in there. See that? They're very good. Okay, so what am I hearing? Okay, so I'm being reminded. It's like that breakdown and a breakthrough. It's like a slingshot. If you can imagine a slingshot, so what I'm seeing is an arrow, and you're being pulled, and that tension's really, really tight, and then you go, and it's fast forward movement. Gifts from the universe. Okay, so you're being asked. First of all, we know the emotions are feeling heavy right now. Trying to kind of work in this, but realize that maybe emotions are not that scary, and it's okay to face and feel and do things. You're being reminded to then connect with your divine source. Really make it a priority. I'm really getting the sense of like a ritual here. It doesn't have to be ritual. It can be just like every night I go and have my bath and I listen to Yanni. Come at me if you want. If you know, you know. I do my thing, right? I do my journaling. I go have my tea. I sit in my garden. Like those are the things. So have your ritual and be consistent with it. And then bam, you will be launched into a new stratosphere or a new dimension or timeline or something fun like that. My goodness. Anything else? Oh, I'm being reminded to tell you this interesting little thing. So I moved about a year and a bit ago, and there's things that I still like haven't fully decided like where they belong yet or where things are. And there have been a few things that I've been wanting to find, and I couldn't find it. And we had a cold snap. So one of them being my complete works of Shakespeare book that I got as a birthday present when I was 16. And it's a very precious book for me. And I was like, where is it? Like, I don't know where it is. I was also looking for my Healing with the Angels deck. Anyway, cold snap. Very, very cold here. And I wanted to take my dog out for a you-know-what. And I knew I had a pair of snow pants somewhere. And I was like, where are these snow pants? Anyways, so my husband's like, it's in the trunk that downstairs. Like, really? Okay, well, that's weird, but all right. I didn't know that. Open up the trunk. I find the first thing, my William Shakespeare book. The second thing is, what else did I find? I found my second autobiography of a yogi copy that I was looking for because it's in better condition. I found my Fairy Oracles book that helps give insight into the cards. And I hadn't seen that in like a year. And I found my Healing with the Angels Oracle deck, which is what launched me to go get, because I couldn't find them. If you remember, if you've been here, you know, I didn't have the Ascended Masters deck until I was on the hunt for finding these. And anyways, here we are. Long story short, I found them. I found like 4 of the things I was looking for today. So that ties in as well because, no one likes minus 20 degrees Celsius weather, but if it weren't for the minus 20 degrees Celsius weather, I wouldn't have been looking for my snow pants. If I hadn't been looking for my snow pants, I would have not found my Healing with the Angels deck and my books and all that. So there he is. How's that? How's that for perspective? All that to say, we're going to use the Healing with the Angels card because it's been a minute. I missed you, you sweet, sweet deck. Whoop, there we go. Guys. Oh, soulmate. I interpret this a couple of ways. Okay, the physical version, the one that comes in human form to help you, but also tune into your mate who is in soul form, your spirit mate. Soulmate. Oh my God, and look at the bottom of the deck. Miracles. Now these are the kinds of cards I think that I can read the booklet from, so I'm going to read it for you. Shall we, before we go on our merry little way? I hope this was helpful. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. Love you. Your prayer for a soulmate relationship is answered. Follow the guidance that you receive so that you may enjoy this gift of divine love. And where did it go? Our gift, remember? So tuning in with our love, with ourself. Oops, sorry. Your heart yearns for a big love. Since you are on the spiritual path, you desire a partner with a similar philosophy and common interests. Can you have great passion and spiritual companionship with the same person? This card confirms that your answer is yes. By drawing this card, your angels ask you to trust in and follow their lead. Trust and follow. Didn't we talk about trust earlier? Follow their lead, okay? They've heard your prayers for a great love. They've heard your prayers for a great love. And they guide you to take steps to manifest this desire. If you are in a current relationship, your angels ask you to release this partnership to them. In that way, they can help elevate your relationship to a soulmate level or help you to gently end it so that your new love may appear. Either way, they will closely assist you and give you clear steps to take. Something came up recently because when you're booed up for a long time, you kind of feel left out sometimes when people are like, oh, it's new love. It's new love. Oh, you got someone new coming in. Well, guess what? You can have the same person and they can still be a new person coming in. And if you're following with the whole jump in timelines idea, quantum physics, and the hologram that is this crazy, wonderful world we live in, that could actually happen. I could get into some weird stories right now. I'm not going to, but trust me on this, okay? You can have the same person and they become a different person. In a good way. In a good way. Focus on the positive, okay? So that's amazing. You don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater is what I'm trying to say. Sometimes it's tempting. Sometimes can be tempting, but it's not. And I'm going to look up miracles for us too, since we got that on the bottom of the deck. Miracles. Miracles are occurring all around you right now. Begin to notice them and you will experience even more miracles. So, right, the more we tune in, the more we hear, the more we see, the more we feel. This card is the angel's way of telling you to expect a miracle. Yes, perhaps you feel that you need one right now because you can't see any other way to a solution. Where'd she go? Oh, dear. Poor dear. I'm trying to be all cool here and I lost my spot, Any other way to a solution? Poor dear. Be open to allowing God to help you resolve your challenges in ways that will surprise you. You open the door for miracles when you become willing to surrender your fears to God. Visualize the angels carrying away the issue and feel yourself supported by God's wisdom and creativity. As you relax into the source, you are assured that blessings are surrounding you right now. Be open to a miracle coming your way. Okay, that's good. I'm hearing someone going, yeah, okay, yeah, okay, sure. No, believe in me. Like I hear that. So do you have an inner cynic? Do you have a program, cynical program running? So check it. You do not need to do a huge exercise of faith. It does not need to be large. You've heard in the Bible, right? The faith of a mustard seed. You do not need big faith. You can just have that glimmer of light. You can be like that little teeny weeny lotus seedling way down there. Seeing that little teeny weeny bit of light. Where's that light? Go find out what the light is. Oh my gosh, that goes back to, I wrote it down, you guys. Where is it? You're gonna laugh because I have a messy book here. I don't know if you can see that. It says be curious right there. Be curious. So be curious. I was just having a conversation with a woman the other day. And, she's saying when you do something to mix up your routine, for example, you brush your teeth typically with your right hand, now switch hands and do it with your left hand. It forces you to become more mindful and conscientious of what you're doing. If you're someone who's ever, driven to work and you're off in your own world because you go on autopilot and then you arrive at work, you're like, how did I get at work? Right? Like that type of stuff. Yeah. Be curious, explore, try to mix it up a little bit, do something a little bit different, and just see where it takes you. Whoops. There we go. All right. This was a lot. I don't know. I don't even know what we're going to call this. I hope, though, you get some cute little fun surprise that just kind of delights you and will help you see that your faith is worth investing in and that your relationship with your source is worth investing in. That's what I wish for you. That's what I hope for you, okay? So I love you, and I hope that you see, magic and change. I hope that you get to see something magical and unique and interesting that sort of gives you a little pep in your step. And if you do, please share it. Come on back. Pop it into the comments. I would love to hear it. I would really love to hear it. That stuff really jazzes me up, So anyways, I love you. You have yourselves a wonderful day, week, month, whenever I see you next.